Hi, my name's Andy and this is Shush. We're thinking about resilience this week. I wonder how you're doing. How's this lockdown feel? Does it feel like an anxious time, a happy time? Maybe there's a sense that you've never been busier. Maybe there's a sense that you're feeling a bit idle. Maybe you're furloughed and wishing that you could get going again. We want to give some space to reflect, to breathe a little, and to build our own well-being in the midst of everything that's going on. And this week on our website we've been thinking about resilience and the concept that we can't just be positive, that difficult things do happen in life and they're happening right now to many people. But there is hope that we can find, and energy, resilience, maybe even stubbornness to keep seeing beyond the things that we're in. And that's what we want to try and bring you today. But let's begin just by settling, by finding ourselves, by finding some peace. A few weeks ago we just imagined the seaside. So in your imagination, I'd like you to go to a place which is by water. Maybe it is a beach, or maybe it's by a river, somewhere that you know and you recognize. And just imagine that sense of calm water. Imagine the sea is just gently lapping, settled. The water is gently rippling. Think about the noises that go with that. And we're just going to take a little bit of time, just at the beginning of this meditation, just to settle. Everything maybe has been going around like this, but in this time we can put it to one side and we can settle ourselves. So I'm just going to give you some time and space in that little place, your imagination, where you're looking at the sea. Allow yourself to calm. Allow yourself to be at peace. In this 15 minutes, you don't need to do anything other than you can rest, reflect. Take time to be at peace. And then just when you're ready, just come back around to focus on this theme of resilience. Think about times where you've really struggled. Might be right now. What enabled you to keep going? What enabled you to keep focused? To persevere? We often think of resilience as this kind of outer hardness, this kind of sense that we are developing a hard shell, and there's some negatives to that. If you feel that you are emotionally intelligent, sensitive, passionate, creative. You might not want a hard shell. Your friends, your family might not want to be hard on the outside. And maybe that's where some of the misconceptions about resilience comes in, that it's, a lack of acceptance that difficult things happen, only good vibes here, or we just keep going regardless. We keep on and on and on, I was talking to somebody the other day who said, I just keep going. And that's great. But bad things, difficult things do happen to us. And the reason I got a frying pan out today is, of course, the resilience of this pan, its non-stick ability, is not that it doesn't cook anything. It's not that you don't get it dirty. It's not that you don't put things in it. It's that it's got things built into it that protect the surface. Resilience is not the absence of struggle. It's the ability to find a way to see past the difficult things that may happen to us. We think of resilient people and they are very perseverant and they keep going and they've dealt with incredible hardships. Nearly all the stories of hope that have inspired me, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, they went through incredibly difficult times, but they found the things to keep going. I like the story from the Hebrew scriptures, from the Jewish tradition, of Jacob. It was told one night wrestled an angel. And I think it's meant to be figurative, that he's wrestling his thoughts and emotions and his struggles. He had an incredibly difficult meeting the next day with a relative that he was very worried about. And he wrestles with God over this. He wrestles with this angel. And in the wrestling match, his hip is put out of place. And the next morning, he walks with a limp. And I like that image, that Jacob went into those times not undamaged by what happened, but able to keep going. Resilience isn't even that I'm still as great and good as I used to be. It's that I carry all these things. These are the things that form us. You'll be aware of, and probably have heard of, and many people talk about, the Japanese art of kintsugi, which is used as a metaphor about these kind of times. Broken pots and plates and cups, fixed back together with gold, thread running through them. They look beautiful in a broken way. And maybe because we've heard that so much, it might just wash over us a bit, but the concept is a good one. That we are almost enhanced by these difficult breakages that happen. We don't want them to happen. We don't welcome them. We don't like them. Nobody likes suffering. But if we're able to find perspective, that crap happens, if we're able to look beyond the thing that's happening and have sight to a hopeful future, and if we're able to assess what's helpful, what's harmful in it, to realise that there are some things that we can't control, and to focus on the things that we can, that enable us to grow and keep going within it, then we can get somewhere. So I'm going to read a poem by Pablo Neruda. It's called Ode to Broken Things. And then I want us just to reflect a little bit on this idea of walking with a limp, and that resilience, not that bad things don't happen, but how we find the ways to keep going. So this is Ode to Broken Things. Things get broken at home like they were pushed by an invisible, deliberate smasher. It's not my hands or yours, it wasn't the girls with their hard fingernails or the motion of the planet. It wasn't anything or anybody. It wasn't the wind. It wasn't the orange cloud at noontime or the night over the earth. It wasn't even the nose or the elbow or the hips getting bigger or the ankle or the air. The plate broke, the lamp fell, all the flower pots tumbled over one by one. The pot which overflowed with scarlet in the middle of October, it got tired from all the violets, and another empty one, whose sound was the voice of our lives, the secret thread of our weeks, which released one by one so many hours for honey and silence, for so many births and jobs. That clock also fell, and its delicate blue guts vibrated among the broken glass, its wide heart unsprung. Life goes grinding up, glass wearing out clothes, making fragments, breaking down, forms, and what lasts through time is like an island on a ship in the sea, perishable, surrounded by dangerous fragility, by merciless waters and threats. Let's put all our treasures together, the clocks, plates, cups cracked by the cold, into a sack and carry them to the sea, and let our possessions sink into one alarming breaker that sounds like a river. May whatever breaks be reconstructed by the sea with the long labour of its ties. So many useless things which nobody broke, but which got broken anyway. How do we find the resilience to overcome? I'd like you to ponder yourself. Look back into your history and those times where life has been difficult and yet you've kept going. Maybe you've even said, I can't bear any more. And yet you did. You kept breathing. Maybe you kept getting up. You kept going on. You kept being a parent. You kept being a friend. Maybe there were times where you barely got by, but you did. Be encouraged by that. Resilience is not something that is elusive. It's something that many, many human beings exhibit every day. And if you don't feel you found that, well, who have you seen that's exhibited that? And consider either in your life or theirs, how did you do it? How did you keep going? This is question number one. And then as you ponder that, think about how can I make use of that reserve again? How can I keep going again in these circumstances, in these times? Not the avoidance of difficulty, but the ability to look beyond. How can I see that horizon ahead of me, whatever it may hold, and find myself able to contemplate my existence there as well as here? Not leaving the present, not ignoring what's happening now, and not realizing that it may not be all right, but realizing that I can keep breathing, keep going, that there are things in me that I can find that can help me, and there are things outside of me too. My friends, my family, maybe your spirituality, your beliefs, your values, maybe those things that you just take for granted but that keep you going. The ability to write, to dig in a garden, to make food, to walk in the air, to experience the natural world. I'm going to leave some time, and I'd like you to consider resilience not in a negative, elusive, I can't get that kind of way, but in a how did I achieve that before, and how might I find that again? I'll just leave some time to reflect. Just want to leave you with two things to contemplate as we finish. Two sets of questions, if you like. The first one is inspired by the 12-step program, and it's a little prayer, a benediction that's used in that we might have the ability to notice the things that we can't change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to tell the difference. It's about acceptance. How can you find acceptance today? The things I can do something about. Maybe my life, my sphere of what I'm involved in. But the things I can't change. Coronavirus. The shutdown. Things that are outside of my power. And the wisdom to tell the difference. And we don't spend the time thinking about the things we can't change, but instead we focus on the things that we can. And the second set of questions is this. Mary Oliver wrote a lovely poem called Wild Geese, and she said this: tell me about your despair and I will tell you mine. Think about what you've thought about today, and who can you talk to about that? Who can you share your journey of resilience and real life with right now? Who can support you? And who can you be a support to? And if you feel like there's nobody, go to the Space to Breathe website, and on the coronavirus section there's a little thing where you can book an appointment to talk to somebody about how you're doing. Come and talk to us. We'd love to talk to you. But try and find someone that you can talk to. Tell me your despair and I'll tell you mine. Sharing here is good. Connecting with people is still important, even though we're doing it in weird ways. So take care of yourself. Have a great week. There'll be another Shush up again next week. In the meantime, every blessing. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.